hear nothing but Yankees fans hating on the Houston Astros. Is this going to be when Jose Altuve wakes his bat up? Are we actually going to get something out of the DH spot? And Brett, who's starting for the Astros?
Cristian Javier, the last time he pitched in the Bronx, he threw 7 scoreless no-hit innings with 13 strikeouts. We'll see if he can replicate the same magic and the bullpen continue to stymie the bats of the Yankees as we give you a preview of Game 3 of the ALCS, Yankees versus Astros. It's a heavyweight fight. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
All right, we got a lot to talk about. Apparently, the Astros just posted the starting lineup, and it's going to be Jose Altuve, Jeremy Pena, Yordan Alvarez, Alex Bregman, Kyle Tucker, Yuli Gurriel, Trey Mancini, and some new blood at the catcher position. Christian Vasquez will be getting the start, and Chas McCormick will be batting ninth. So this could potentially be the Astros' best starting lineup, depending on what Mancini does. But you have, I know, don't get me wrong, Maldonado's had a pretty good postseason so far, but I'm just looking at what Christian Vasquez can offer as a hitter. I think that this is good. And if you have Chas McCormick batting ninth, that's like having a second leadoff hitter. And you know what's also like having a second leadoff hitter? Watching Locked On Astros podcast while you're getting ready in the morning or at work or on your way to work. Maybe you ride a bus or something and you have time to watch us on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us. If you're waiting for the game, if you're going to Yankee Stadium right now, props to you right now. Props to you for being that bold to do that. But make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Check out the Locked On Astros podcast.
Yeah, man, our friend Paul, he watches this show and just he's a good dude. He actually took off to New York. He's going to be going to, I think he got tickets to every game that is in New York. And so I
think
guess
said everyone but one.
Oh, everyone but one. Okay. So, but Paul's there. There are going to be some other Yankees fans, some traveling Yankees fans. I know a friend of mine some traveling Astros fans. I know my friend Melissa's up there. There's just a whole bunch of people that are going up there and they're braving the crowd. One of the things I want to do hopefully next year is I do want to get to Yankee Stadium. And if I get there, Eric, you're going to have to find a way to get there too. And we're going to have to do a podcast from like New York City, from the Bronx, from like inside the belly of the beast. I think that would be phenomenal. But you know what? I'm really excited about Cristian Javier going today, Eric. He has been a weapon for the Astros in the postseason. In his career, he's 2-1 with a 3.38 ERA in 12 postseason appearances. He's been dominant. A 171 average against, 13 for 76 for the opponents. He struck out 34 in 21 in the third innings. That right there is a good reason why Cristian Javier is a great option, especially going against Gerritt Cole.
And a lot of y'all were probably asking, well, why isn't Lance McCullers starting? Because apparently during the celebration during the ALDS, when a champagne bottle hit his elbow, and it was nothing serious, nothing that he's going to have to go off the roster. But the Astros decided to give him an extra day to rest and recover. And so he'll be going in game 4. So it's nothing to worry about, but it's just like, geez, can't this guy catch a break after that great game he pitched in game 3? It's just like, why does this seem to happen? But Cristian Javier dominated the Yankees. He's dominated the Yankees in his career. He's got a 1-0 record with a 0.60 ERA with 12.6 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. That includes his 13 strikeout appearance this year. So he knows how to get the Yankees out, and the Yankees, especially in postseason, are striking out a lot. They are striking out what I think it's like 42% at a time, 30 out of 72 plate appearances, something like that. So it's pretty crazy how much they're striking out. So yes, Aaron Judge is going back home. Yes, he's going to have a lot of people who are going to be cheering for him. And
Oh
yes,
yeah.
he's going to have the wind in his favor in this situation, because that's where he's hit a lot of his home runs. And I'm sure the wind aided him, because the
Well,
wind hurt him in that one game.
look, I'm pretty sure if we're gonna play fair here, I think they probably need to move right field fence back about 30 feet. Make it about a 15-foot wall like they have with the Angels. And, maybe Aaron Judge can, know what it's like to play on a level playing field, because apparently he got cheated. But I digress, because I could really care less talking about, Eric, the excuses the Yankees made after the game. I was literally embarrassed for their organization. Because if you are the Yankees and you are this storied franchise, and I mean, legends. I mean, we're talking Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle. We're talking Yogi Berra, Don Drysdale. We're talking, all the greats. You know what I'm saying? Mr. October, who's now at the Astros. You don't say things like that. Like, you may think about it. You may complain to maybe the front office of MLB. You may in the clubhouse have a discussion. But there's an old phrase, never let them see you sweat. And to me, that showed the Yankees' fear of what the Astros can do. Because let me tell you this, and I saw this from Chris Rose on his podcast that he does with John Boy Media, and I had thought about it a little, but he really put a bow tie on it. He said this. He said, if Framber Valdez does not make those errors, there's a chance that the Yankees don't even score any runs in this game at all. Like, they could have been shut out. This Yankees team has no reason for excuses. They're going to go out today, though, and you better bet they're going to play with the fire. But I think Jose Altuve, this is the perfect place for him to get going and get fired up. So, Eric, get this. So they're 5-0, right? You know,
Mhm.
the last time do you know the last time the Astros had a 5-game win streak in the playoffs? Do you know what year it was?
No.
2017. 2017 was the last time they won 5 games in a row. And I think it's pretty amazing how things are lining up. We saw the Phillies take a 2-1 lead. They're looking to take a 3-1 lead in Philly. I think that series still goes at least 6 games, goes back to San Diego. I think they get one of these next 2. So we don't know who our opponent is, but what we have to rest in is the Astros are 2-0 in the ALCS. And Eric, let me tell you this. Teams that go up 2-0 in a series have won 84.7% of the games, or they have gone on to win 84.7% of the series in Major League Baseball. There's only been one Astros team to go up 2-0 that didn't win. That was a 1981 Astros versus Dodgers NLDS. And so, I'm sorry, in NLCS, because they didn't have the DS back then. So the Astros are in a good place, but they're not done.
All right. I want to properly give the Yankees credit. So I've got to correct myself. The Yankees have struck out in 30 of 70 plate appearances, and their strikeout percentage is 52.9%. So I'm going to go ahead and round that to 43%. So,
Well, also, if you count it this way, Eric, this is how I like to count it. There were 54 outs in the first 2 games. 32 of those 54 outs were strikeouts. That's 55.5% of their outs are strikeouts. You can't beat anybody striking out 55.5% of the time.
yeah, for sure. And so the Astros, on the other hand, struck out 8 times, 2 in the first game, 6 in the second game. That's a pretty good situation when you make the contact like the Astros do. Yes, sometimes you hit in double play, sometimes you pop it up, sometimes it's just weak fly balls, whatever, but at least you make contact. And if you make contact, that's when you put things in play. So I will bet on that continuing. And speaking of betting, let's talk about BetOnline. I wonder what the odds are for the Astros going all the way this year.
Yeah, betonline.net is your number one source for betting, football, and the start of the new basketball season. Find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth analysis on every game. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sports wagering information, like live betting up to the minute scores for every sport out there. The fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events, including MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today and use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts.
All right. So Luis Severino, or the catcher, I forgot who it was, said that Alex Bregman was lucky to get the ball out of the ballpark, and that was wind aided something. Alex Bregman's 3-run shot would have been a home run in 25 stadiums, including Yankee Stadium. Aaron Judge's would have been a home run in only one ballpark, Yankee Stadium. So isn't that ironic? But it just like I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but their whole mantra this postseason was no excuses, play to win, and it's just like all we've heard is like admit that you made a mistake. Oh yeah, I threw in I threw a good pitch. He just hit it. Instead, it's just like, oh, he got lucky. But that's not what the Yankees are do. I mean, who knows what's going to happen to Aaron Boone? Is he a lame duck at this point? Because this is how many years since they've been actually won a World Series? So they may be ready to move on, like the Rangers moved on this year, and now Bruce Bochy is the manager of the Texas Rangers. That's not a pair I thought I would see. But we do have to talk about some rumors out there before we get back to today's game.
Okay.
There's some rumors out there by, I believe it's Michael Rodriguez. He said that Joe Espada is, as soon as the Astros World Series or playoff run is over, that he is going to be the next White Sox manager. So Joe Espada is likely out. And then John Heyman earlier in the day reported that the Astros are likely to invite Dusty Baker back to be the manager for 2023. But he's not so certain that James Click would be back because they don't seem to click.
Yeah, that's weird. Click doesn't seem to click with Crane. And look, if that's a leadership personality thing, I guess in the long haul, you need those things to work and gel together. I really do believe that there is someone in Baltimore that they'll be looking at. So no matter what happens going forward, as much as I would hate to see Joe Espada in a White Sox uniform, he absolutely deserves to get a managerial role. He absolutely has earned his spot, has earned the respect of the players, and he may be going to the White Sox. Hey, who knows? There's a pretty famous White Sox player that's going to be a free agent in Jose Abreu, and he might be someone you could look at for a short term to sign with the Astros. So we might be swapping spots between Espada and Abreu. I'm just saying that could be a possibility. Every free agent's possible at this point. But Espada leaving, Click presumably being gone, Dusty Baker coming back. And I know a lot of people are like, no, Dusty Baker on all his decisions. But he's run the master class. And look, Eric, I've got it right here. All-time manager wins in the postseason. Dusty Baker's 45-44. You know what? That's tied for second. That's tied for fourth.
Yeah.
Only Torrey La Russa and Bobby Cox have more wins, okay? And actually, Bobby Cox has an under 500 record in the playoffs. He's 67-69. That's crazy that a lot of these managers don't have massive winning percentages. Joe Torre and La Russa are the only ones that have 10 games plus in the managerial column. So whatever you think about Dusty, whatever's going on with this club, if he comes back, I'll tell you this, the players have bought into him. You watch the celebrations, you listen to him talk. He is an absolute player's coach. And if they win, if they get it all, you better bet that Dusty will be reinvigorated. And Dusty said the other day, look, I have faith in God, and he has got me here. He said, I got cancer, I had a stroke, and now I'm employed, and I'm chasing another title. I mean, this guy's been through it. He's been there, done that, got the T-shirt. I just think this season, There's just something special about this season. And I still think that Dusty is the X factor here.
Yeah, and I think the player said the other day, Alex Bregman and a couple other people said, we want to win this for Dusty Baker because they do like him as a manager. So a lot of the talk around Houston has been what's up with Ryan Stanek? Why aren't we using him? But something that we talked about a lot throughout the regular season and something that we haven't really talked about a lot during postseason is look how critical each time you walk a hitter is. I mean, that just the extra runners on base is very big. And he led the Astros, I believe, during the regular season with walks in the bullpen. So it seems like Brian Abreu, he's supplanted Ryan Stanek in that pecking order. And then you have Neris. So Neris and Stanek are kind of the seventh inning guys, but Stanek is kind of, Abreu. Neris is getting the lefties out a little bit better this postseason, and so it seems like he's just not really there so far. But also, you have all the off days, but playing possibly 4 or 5 games in a row, that he's going to get his time. So Stanek will get some playing time, but it's just the way the Astros have only played 5 games so far.
Exactly. They played 5 games. But this is what's amazing, Eric. Rafael Montero has a 2.25 ERA. And I'm sitting here looking through, making sure that I'm looking at my notes the right way. But the relief pitchers that I'm seeing on here, they all have zeros. Abreu, 0. Hunter Brown, 0. Garcia, 0. Urquidy hasn't even played yet. Seth Martinez hasn't even played yet. Stanek, 0. Presley, 0. Hector Nery, 0. I mean, this right here, this stat sheet right here that I'm holding in my hand is probably one of the most amazing relief pitching stat sheets in a 5-game stretch that I think I've ever seen. And this, if you could give an MVP to the ALDS to a group of players, it would be the relief pitchers. Hands down, it would be the relief pitchers. And Eric, they could have gone with Luis Garcia today. They could have gone with Jose Urquidy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they've got so many options. This club just is so fun it's just so fun to watch. And not just that, even though we haven't been scoring a lot, the Astros have homered in all 5 games this postseason. They have hit 10 long balls between 6 players, okay? This club doesn't live and die by the long ball per se, but in the postseason, they have. They have, and I'm here for it. I need to see a Jose Altuve home run today. I don't know that I need to see a leadoff, but I need to see a Jose Altuve home run. I need to see him pull that ball to left field because it looks so great. And then Yordan Alvarez. I mean, this guy can hit in Yankee Stadium. He's hit a few home runs. He hit a couple off of Cole. And I don't know if you noticed, I trolled Gerritt Cole a little bit on the template. I had him hanging his head after he gave up that home run to J.J. Matijevic last time he pitched against the Astros in Yankee Stadium.
Presley is not available, but he's been the backbone of the Astros bullpen, so I'm sure I've not officially see that. But Aaron Boone today said the playoffs are tough. We're up against probably the best pitching staff going forward. And yes, the Astros starting pitching has a 0.69 ERA this postseason, and their bullpen overall is just dominating. So it's just great to see this team kind of coming together. So I remember doing a podcast earlier this year and people freaking out about the offense not hitting. And I remember thinking, well, yes, the offense will struggle at times, but the pitching, if you limit the other team's offense, you're going to win a lot of the games. Now, the question is, at Yankee Stadium, can they get to Gerritt Cole? Gerritt Cole is somebody who's had some good success in the playoffs, and the Astros are he's 1-2 against the Astros with a 2.57 ERA. With 9 strikeouts per 9 innings. They have hit 4 home runs against him. Alvarez is one of those players that's hit a home run against him. And I believe that was this year. Or at least one of them was this year. But Alvarez has also struck out 7 times in the 10 at-bats against him. So it's either feast or famine with him. And if you look at other guys that have had success, Aledmys Diaz is batting 286, but he's not in the starting lineup today. But Dusty Baker, they're not getting anything. I know we've been focused on Jose Altuve going 0 for 23, but the DHs are like 1 for 20 in this end of playoffs. So they're not really contributing that much either. So I think Dusty Baker's just trying to play them and see who gets hot, because Diaz didn't really show a lot, and neither has Mancini.
Yeah, Mancini needs to get off the schneid. When I say the schneid, he needs a hit. He needs to square up a baseball. Mancini's played the Yankees a lot. He's played in Yankee Stadium a lot, being in the same division as them. And Christian Vasquez, who's supposedly has a really good record against the Yankees in the postseason. I think he needs to show up. But, Eric, this team has been showing up with the guys that aren't supposed to be the headliners. But that's what makes this team great. You got a guy like an unsung hero like Chas McCormick. Dude, he's batting ninth. He's got one of the hottest bats in the Astros lineup. I mean, you got Chas McCormick going ninth, and then you got to face Jose Altuve, who possibly gets heated up this game. I mean, that is a winning combination right there. Alex Bregman going yard would be nice, but Diaz, I think, will probably get a pinch hit at the end of the game. If Mancini is not swinging the bat his first couple at bats, they may replace him with Diaz. Yuli Gurriel has been hitting. Martin Maldonado can always come in late against a relief pitcher that he's favorable against, because we've seen Martin Maldonado launch him. This team, Eric, I think is poised to win this game 3. And I know a lot of people are nervous about game 3. They think because it's Gerrit Cole, but we've beat Gerrit Cole. Gerrit Cole's beat us. It depends on who's better today. And Jose Altuve, I think, at least gets at least one hit. I think he can get him. I would love to see him get a multi-hit game like Edward says. He hits 2 today. That's awesome. Hey, how about 2 home runs? Let's just go all or nothing. Let's just go all in. But Javier on the mound, Eric, I think is phenomenal. The bullpen coming in, I'm excited about that. And this crowd, there's going to be a ruckus. And what's funny is Locked On Yankees host Stace Gatsulia said, please, Yankees fans, don't chant F. Altuve. Let's just stop with that chant. Like, she hates it. So, but more than likely, they're still going to chant that.
Right. And another reason why Dusty Baker put Mancini in his lineup is because playing with the Baltimore Orioles, he's faced Cole a couple times, and he's got 18 career bats, and he's batting 222 with a 578 OPS with 1 double, 4 hits, only 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. So switching over to Cristian Javier, the only batter on the Yankees right now that's hit a home run off of him is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and he's got an 857 OPS off of him. So he most likely will definitely be in the lineup. But if you look at the batting averages and the slash line overall, 0.083 batting average, 0.185 on base percentage, 146 slugging, 331 OPS. So Cristian Javier, it's a small sample size, only 48 at bats, but still in his limited time, we saw it with the 13 strikeouts earlier this year. He's been dominating. Now the postseason is a whole different ball game. What type of guy is he could be? We saw him in 1 inning in the Seattle series. He gave up a home run to J.P. Crawford, and it was a blast. But he was coming in a situation that he hasn't been in a long time in the bullpen. So we'll see what happens there.
So Ryan Presley, talking about the bullpen, Eric, the back end, I didn't realize this until I was looking over the press notes. 8 for 8 today, or 8 for 8 right now in the postseason this year. He is posting a 1.83 ERA with 69 strikeouts. Nice. A 176 opponent batting average, a .091 whip, and the bullpen overall is 0.71 ERA. So, dude, Press has been the man. Presley has been absolute nails. And I hope, though, that this is a game we don't have to use Presley. I hope that we have a 5, 6, 7 run lead and we don't have to use Presley. But if we do, he gets the job done. Our bullpen does it. Cristian Javier has a phenomenal start. Our offense looks good. And a Game 3 win, Eric, would completely deflate this Yankees team. And that's when I could say, you know what? A sweep is not necessarily imminent, but a sweep could happen. If you take Game 3, that is like taking the heart out of this team that you're playing in New York. But know that the guys from the Bronx are going to come out fighting. You know, Aaron Judge is not a loser. Aaron Judge is a winner. He's not going to go down without a fight. Gerritt Cole is motivated like nobody's business. So an angry Gerritt Cole can work one of two ways. We're hoping that he slips up a little bit because even though he's got the most strikeouts, remember, he gave up the most long balls.
Yeah, Daniel Lerner in a press conference asked Dusty Baker, well, you've limited Aaron Judge so far. And Dusty Baker was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Don't jinx it or anything. But the Astros have held him to 1 for 8 in Houston. And he is somebody who's struggling in playoff with a slash line of 179, 207, 393, and 600 OPS. This is a guy that dominated all year. He's probably going to win the MVP in the American League. But and the Astros are 5-2 against the Yankees during the regular season. But this is what Dusty Baker had to say about him. He's the biggest dude in baseball and the most powerful guy in baseball. You rather not have to face him with any men on base, and we've escaped so far. So one of the keys to the game, I guess the rest of the series, is limit how many runners you have on in front of Aaron Judge, because he's due to hit one of those long balls. And the key is to make it a solo shot. Now, that's one of the keys. I think you got to keep the pitching moving. You got to keep the pitching dominating like you do. It's okay to give up one run or so, but you've got to have the offense 1 or 2 runs, but the offense has got to recover like they did in Game 3. No, not Game 3. It was Game 1 of the ALDS. You got to, like, if the pitchers give up some runs, the offense has to really dominate there. And then you also have to just continue making contact. Like I talked about earlier, you got to put the bat on the ball. You got to, like, the Yankees are striking out at a not historic, but at a big pace. You got to continue striking them out, but you got to make contact, because if you put balls in play, good things are going to happen.
Yeah, definitely. And I was looking for this, looking for the exact numbers, but Yordan Alvarez's go-ahead home run in Game 1, I believe against the Mariners, whenever they ended up winning, 8-7, that home run, that was the single most valuable hit when you talk about value that a play added. You know how they have the win probability monitor going up and down, and you remember the shirt they made where it was like all the way up top, like 99.1%. Basically, right. Yordan Alvarez's hit had a plus 105% effect. They say there's not been a single hit in Major League history that's had more of an impact on a game than that hit. And this is Yordan Alvarez, Eric, who we have signed to an amazingly nice, team-friendly deal, and a guy who loves Houston, one of these Cuban players who has humility, who loves the game and plays the game the right way. And he's a Houston Astro. And we are absolutely in the golden era. I mean, Yordan Alvarez should be an Astro for his entire career, just like Jose Altuve. Gosh dang it, we better keep Bregman, and Yuli Gurriel better retire as an Astro. These are guys that are our grandkids, our great-grandkids are going to talk about this era of Astros baseball.
Yeah, so the Astros just need to go out there, and I'm adding one more key. Okay. Jose Altuve's got to wake up, and maybe it's the booze, it's the F Altuve's. Maybe that's what's going to wake him up, because he tends to thrive over there. So we need the beast to just come out in him. And I know that maybe that fan running onto the field the other day took all his bad mojo off, and maybe he's going to become a hitting machine now for the rest of the series. And I think I joked around the other day and said that he's going to have 7 hits now or something, but we'll see if it.
Really, you're saying he was going to go 7 for 23 after his 0 for 23 is what you said.
Something.
So not 7 hits in one game.
No. No.
But, here's the deal. A counter to that. I mean, it's not like everybody in the postseason has been knocking the cover off the ball, and Jose Altuve is the only one that hasn't shown up. It's just more visible because he's Jose Altuve, Eric. He has more home runs than anybody in Major League Baseball since 2011. This guy is a professional hitter. He is a career 300 hitter. He is one of the best contact guys of all times. And so it will be nice to see him get off the snide. And the law of averages is a way in his favor, in way like outweighs his favor versus the Yankees, I think 10-1, just because at some point you got to hit. You're not going to go over your whole career.
Right.
So I think 2 or 3 hits today is very manageable for Mr. Altuve.
All right. I've got some pregame excuses from Aaron Boone. You ready? On Aaron Boone on why Cristian Javier is so tough to hit. It's an elite fastball profile to go along with a really good slider as well. He pitched one of the best games probably against us here, where he was very dynamic. His fastball really plays up to go along with a really good slider. So the excuse is the Astros started the wrong pitcher. You're supposed to start Lance McCullers in this game instead of Cristian Javier. So there's the excuse.
There you go. It's called the Invisible, and I wrote about it. And you know what? I need to bring that article back up. I actually wrote for scout.com. I wrote that article about Cristian Javier's Invisible when he first came up. And I need to revise that and do an updated version with 103.7 the game. I think I'll do that after this game this weekend, talk about it. But the Astros today going to the Bronx, hostile environment. They've been here, done that. They got the T-shirt. Who knows? Maybe Carlos Correa will be talking about how he remembers going into Yankee Stadium as a rookie and being interviewed and saying, are you nervous? And he's like, no, I've been preparing for this event my whole life. And you've got a group of young players, a few of them, who have the experience of the veterans right there, Eric. This team is cloaked in confidence. This team is cloaked in ability. And this team is cloaked in the fact that they know more than anybody else that they are supposed to get the victory today. And they, I think, do their job and things go in their favor.
Alrighty. So I think that the Astros, this is going to be a well-pitched game. I think both pitchers are great pitchers. I think that Cristian Javier is finally becoming that starter that Jeff Luhnow envisioned when he brought him up and when he scouted him and everything. So I think we're going to see Cristian Javier make his name in front of a national audience today. I don't know what the outcome is going to be. I'm just saying it's going to be a well-pitched game today. It may be a 2-1 victory, a shutout victory on one side. So,
ooh, Eric Martinez wants a score prediction. Dang it! I was hoping to get through this show without someone asking for that. Can I Mark McGuire this and plead the fifth? Or do we give the fans what they want?
I'll just say 2-1. I'll just go Astros victory. Altuve hits a home run, then they get they score a run on a single, on an RBI single or something.
I'm gonna say 5-3 Astros.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say who hits home runs. I'm just say 5-3. And that's the bottom line because H-Town Wheelhouse says so. Do you smell what I'm cooking? Let's go, baby. Astros, let's go 3-0. Let's do this. H-Town.
All right, guys, that's all we got for this edition. Yes, we'll be back after the show, after the game tonight, and we'll be talking about the results of this game. Hopefully, it's another Astros victory, put them up 3-0 in ALCS. If it's not, we'll be here, and we expect you to be here as well to go ahead and talk about the team we love. Win or lose, we are the Locked On Astros podcast. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure you make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Check us out. And hopefully this guy gets some hits today. All right, that's all we got. And see you later tonight. Go Astros.